Hey guys, we're on the next one as we're going to be going over Peter Jackson's King Kong for our Godzilla vs. Kong-a-thon. Yep. We're going with this one because, well, it's the only other King Kong I have besides Kong Skull Island. But, well, come on. It's Peter Jackson, and this was what got him into doing movies. And let's be honest also, whenever you have a different type of special effects, it makes sense then to actually do a new King Kong movie. It's one of those movies that you almost have to do for new effects. Like, when you look at the original one was stop motion, the 70s one was suit work, and then this one is CGI. Kong Skull Island is probably the only one that wasn't done for that reason, but that was because that was done more for, a story, an actual legit story reason.
It's just like, want a test run for a new cinematic thing? Hey, Kong's your guy.
Yep, although I will just say this, get ready to see Jack Black in a very different type of role.
Oh, well, that's a very interesting temptation.
Yep, because he plays Carl Denham, the guy who's trying to go there and record stuff and everything. You have, you're going to have a whole bunch of actors in here, of course, but of course the main star itself is going to be Kong, and we'll just look at him. See what I mean? It's just, well done. So we'll see you on the other side in about 3.5 hours. Hey guys, just got done seeing King Kong and long. Too long, even for the extended cut.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get us wrong. It was good.
It was definitely good. It's just that there are definitely a couple of parts you could have cut out and...
I mean, again, we're watching the extended cuts, though. We're watching everything put back in, but still. I mean, it's like for every bit that we had, every act we had, there was always stuff that was way too long. You had the boat. The whole boat was way too long.
Yeah, it's just like you probably could have like left only like a quarter of that and still gotten across the points you needed to get across.
The island, it was good until eventually we got to the point where they're trying to find Anne from Kong. That got way too long. And then you have the ice skating sequence during the climax. What was the point? You know what I mean? It was like, it was so useless. I mean, Peter Jackson, you could so tell he was a fan, that this was the movie that influenced him. You could so tell. But that's the detriment to it.
It's just like, you sort of get into the point where you're so, like, spamming about this thing that you like that you don't necessarily notice that the other person has stopped taking interest in the conversation, except in the form of a movie.
Exactly. Especially once he starts adding and extending more and more. Okay, I do like the idea that Jack is technically a character that's been split into two. You have Jack, the writer, and you have Brock Becker, the actor, who's kind of in the other part of Jack's role. Which I like Becker, didn't you? The actor? I liked him. There was more to him than you think, but at the same time, he was still a clown. What'd you say about Jack Black as Carl Denham?
Really fantastic.
He matched what you need, especially... There's points where you think, Carl's being sincere, but then he starts making other actions where you're like,
okay, that's starting to look suspect to me.
Or at the very least, he's starting to lose himself. Like, he's more convincing himself that he's doing it, for example, in the memory of his crew, but then you're starting to be like, are you really in it just for the money?
Because it's just like, you start to use the same excuse too many times.
Well, dedicate the proceeds to his family and his wife and family. It's like, doing it for the sound guy first, all right, then doing it later on again for the more loyal, of course, camera guy, which, again, that guy was way more loyal. You could and because that's the thing. You could tell Carl was so broken when he got killed. So clearly that they do mean something, but... Yeah, you're a bit bored from the length, aren't you?
Yeah.
But, and then you had, now, Naomi Watts as Anne was the best, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'd say that she was definitely the star of the show here.
I mean, Adrian Brody as Jack was okay, but kind of vanilla.
Yeah.
Oh, especially the romance.
That was pretty damn token.
I mean, I know you needed it. You needed it because of, the characterizations, but...
It's just, yeah, you can tell it's just going through the motions.
And it's way too fast. Kong and her have a faster growing relationship.
Yeah, Yeah, which is
not faster, a more natural growing. Mm-hmm. But like I said, though, Naomi and Jack both are the big, besides the big K himself, those are the two saving graces of the movie. That and Jimmy. Mm-hmm. You know, the young cabin boy.
Yeah.
I loved his growth. I mean, the moment you found out the book he was reading was Heart of Darkness, what did you think?
Oh boy, there is foreshadowing city in that
Foreshadowing city, but also you're like, this kid has no idea. Not only what he's getting into with that book, but what he's getting into, period. Mm-hmm. Because he just thinks like, oh, it's on a seaboat. We're on a seaboat.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, this poor naive kid.
And then once he reads it, he's like, this isn't a tale of adventures, is it, Mr. Hayes?
And it's
no,
just
it's
like,
not.
no, it isn't.
And then he wants to go help Anne, but he's at that age where you think, right, you go headlong into any situation is bravery, when it's like that's stupidity. Mm-hmm. But but he does become a man. We don't see much of him afterwards, but oh man, the things it took to get him there.
Yeah, that's just traumatic.
It is. And losing so much of the crew, 17 people died. To be fair, the one time I didn't care for Anne was when they were trying to capture him out. She was a little too protective of him. But again, she didn't know. But it does come off a little like you don't care about that these men died to save you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It doesn't kind of come off that way a little. Like she's getting so close to Kong that now it's like maybe there's a reason they're doing this. Mm-hmm. But overall, though, I give this a 7.5. It is. Oh, actually, no. We should talk about Kong himself.
Oh yeah, we really should.
Kong was obviously the star of the show, but the emotions he showed, both in his posture and his face, Andy Serkis really delivered. Mm-hmm. And my favorite bit has to be after he defeats the T-Rex or the V-Rex, and he just kind of looks away from her like, "You don't have to say thank you or anything." You can still tell by his posture. It's just like, It's like, is she reacting? Yep, she's looking. Did you notice that how he looks back and then looks right forward again? It's just like, like try and be a badass. And again, it's just like that, but you can still tell he's an older gorilla. An older gorilla that's been alone for so long.
Yeah.
And while Anne clearly doesn't reciprocate the love, she does care for him and wants him to just get back home. Such a shame. We know what the end result's going to be.
Yep, foregone conclusion.
'Twas beauty that killed the beast. And again, overall, a bit too long, but still a masterful remake.
Indeed.
I mean, some of the details they did give, like the music and how how he reutilized the old natives costumes for the from the original for the Broadway version. Oh, the natives. Good God, are they scary?
Yeah.
When you think of the word savages, this movie shows you what that is. Because they both act savagery, they look savage, you know, they speak savagely. Everything about them screams true blue savages. These people who have been on this island for so long that aside from communicating with each other, they know nothing else. They probably don't even know how to entertain themselves. They just go through the motions. Did you ever get that? Did you get that feeling that they kind of like, they're not really even fully alive, they're just there?
Yeah, operating more on instinct.
Until Anne screamed and it's like you just threw our whole order out of order. Our whole livelihood out of order.
So now we gotta
sacrifice you. Because we're not sacrificing our girls, what girls we have left to the thing. But again, it's just, Jackson did a masterful job. I just wish he didn't glorify so much. But overall, yep. Well, after this, now that you've seen Godzilla and King Kong, you know, beforehand, what are you expecting with the MonsterVerse? Or do you want to save that question for the next video?
I think we'll save it for the next video.
Okay, we'll see you guys there tomorrow.